The next category that we look at is power. And there are 3 different tests that we do to look at power production. The first being a counter movement jump. And a counter movement jump is just simply a vertical jump. And with this, the metric that we look at is we look at the jump height and where that individual falls with others their age, gender, and competition level. So we give them their ranking. The next movement that we'll look at is a single leg counter movement jump. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a vertical jump, but you're only doing it off of one leg. Now, the important metric that we get from this test is asymmetry. And we're able to do an analysis of how they jump off of their left leg versus their right leg. There's always going to be some inherent differences between our dominant leg and our non-dominant leg, but there's acceptable ranges that should fall within, and we're able to tell you and your athlete where they are within that range, and if it's a safe distance or if it's something that could use a little bit more attention, and how we can intentionally program that with a strength and conditioning program. The final jump that we look at is something called a squat jump, and with this, it is a non-counter movement jump, meaning we are not going through the full vertical jump motion. We're actually starting in a squatted or preloaded position. Now, what this does, it eliminates momentum. So with this, it puts a very large emphasis on force production from a stationary position. And we'll call this concentric force, which is the shortening or the contraction of the muscle. Now, this is where you'll have some athletes who they may not be as strong as what they should be, but they're really, really good at utilizing momentum to their advantage. They're really good compensators. Those are people that can vertical jump very high, but when we put them in this squat jump, their results suffer a little bit. So what this allows us to do is figure out from a strength training standpoint and from a movement standpoint, are you somebody that needs to work on strength training, or you need somebody that needs to work more on plyometrics and jump training? Is it the inability to produce force, or is it the inability to tap into that force production? And that's what the power profile tells us. Their vertical jump, their single leg vertical jump, and their squat jump. Where do they fall amongst their peers in regards to percentile rankings? Do they have any significant differences between their left and their right side that we need to be mindful of? And then when we eliminate momentum from the equation, do they still have the requisite strength to perform at a high level? Some of the test results that you'll see relayed on your testing profile are going to relate to your jump height rank, your elastic utilization ratio, and 3 different metrics that talk about eccentric capabilities. And eccentric is essentially the lowering, the negative, or the deceleration part of a jump. So think about the initial loading phase of a jump, or after you've taken off and you are landing, that phase from when your feet hit the ground to when you come to a complete stop. And within those eccentric capabilities, we're going to look at 3 specific measurements. And those 3 results are going to be your eccentric peak velocity. So what's the maximal speed you achieve during that eccentric phase? Your deceleration impulse during the eccentric phase. And then also your modified RSI. And we'll get into RSI a little bit later, but it's your reactive strength index and how that relates to contraction time, or how quickly those muscles can fire. So those will be the different readings that we're getting that are specific to the force plates, and we can only capture with the force plates that we can then interpret and give you and your athlete a profile of where you are and where we need to go.